Growing a business is one of the most epic personal and professional development journeys you can take in life. And it's not just because of the cash, influence, and autonomy that you get to acquire as an owner. We call that CIA in my world. It's actually because of the collection of skills that the seven-figure company you're building demands that you acquire. In this brief episode, I'm going to identify the skills that you need to be CEO of an entrepreneurial company, and I'm going to lay out how to strategically build those skills. Because while you're using them all at once, it's actually hard to build them all simultaneously. So don't go anywhere. So here's the question. In a world where the rules of business have been written by men, how do women entrepreneurs like us, women who want to make millions of dollars and impact millions of lives, how do we create enormous success on our terms? That's the question, and this show explores the answers. Welcome to Power Presence Position. I'm your host, Eleanor Beaton, and I'm on a mission to double the number of women entrepreneurs who generate over $1 million per year in annual revenue. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and leadership coach. I'm a wife, mom of 2 boys, and I'm the CEO of a 7-figure business. Stick around because on this show, you'll learn how to think, communicate, and get paid like a 7-figure CEO. Let's go. 10 months ago, we moved into our new home and I had to pack up my office. Now, I had some good furniture that I brought with me. I had some files and papers that I needed to sort through and largely get rid of. But the main thing that I had to move were my books. I'm talking about a lot of books. And as I packed up those books, it was actually a really fascinating experience because it took me on a trip down memory lane as it relates to the skills that I have worked so hard to acquire as a founder, and also the order in which I needed to build them. So the early books that I read and thumbed through and reread and underlined and highlighted, they were all about personal leadership. They were about confidence. They were about vulnerability. They were about owning who I was and doing the deep personal development work I needed to do in order to put myself out there. So at the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur, I was reading a lot of Martha Beck, of Brené Brown. They're 2 of my personal favorites. And from there, as my business started growing, I realized I needed to learn how to do product development. I needed to learn how to be a better salesperson, how to do marketing more effectively. So the next sort of big chunk of books that I acquired and focused on for a period of a couple of years, it was all about sales and marketing and product development. So I was still doing some of the personal development stuff, but much more in sales and marketing. And then as I built up those skills, I realized, and we were acquiring all these fantastic clients and I wanted to keep them and serve them well. So it was all about customer service and then hiring people and then building culture and then growth strategy. So as I was packing up these books and thinking back on when I'd read them and what I got out of them, I realized that over the years, I'd been buying these books based on acquiring a set of skills that any founder needs to build. And I was doing it in a very organic order that I needed in order to meet the demands of my company at each stage of its development. And I realized that all those hours that I spent reading, I was in fact strategically building what was, at least in those early days, the most important asset my business had. And that asset was me. Part 1, you are an asset, so make strategic investments in your development. Now, today, I am just one awesome asset in my business. We have so many others, an incredible team, great offerings, incredible marketing assets like this podcast, intellectual property, systems and processes, customers, audience, data, and each of those assets combines and works together to create a level of value that is far bigger than anything I could do on my own. But if I hadn't first acquired the skills a founder CEO needs, I never could have created the foundation for those assets. So for example, if I didn't first acquire excellent technical skills as a coach and as an instructional designer, and typically, like if you're building a software company, very often you're going to have a certain amount of technical skills, potentially as a developer or coder, to build that company. Not always, but very often the first set of skills that you have as a founder are the technical skills for your business. So if I didn't acquire the technical skills as a coach and an instructional designer, I probably could not have created the caliber of programming we have. I couldn't have built the coaching team that we have or been able to develop the coaching team the way that I've been able to do to provide the kind of value that we provide to our clients. I had to start with a certain level of baseline foundational skill that everybody else could build on from there. If I didn't learn about sales and marketing principles, I couldn't have built out strong selling systems that are authentic to us and the way we do things. If I didn't have the skills, I wouldn't have been able to recognize if the contractors we brought in or the team members we hired were good or BSing me, right? Like you need to have a baseline level of skill in order to be able to run your company. I believe that a strong entrepreneur is a strong operator, which means you need to know your business inside and out, at least in the early stages. And that in turn means that you will need to keep acquiring the skills your company needs you to have as CEO. Now, in a second, I'm going to share the specific skills every founder CEO needs and the order in which I recommend you build them. But first, I want to share a cautionary tale. Part 2. The danger of being a one-trick pony. I once knew a really smart woman who built up a small consulting business in a specific field, and she really wanted to grow that business, which is why we started talking to each other. Now, remember how I said in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I really inhaled Brené Brown and Martha Beck and personal leadership books like they were going out of style? Well, this founder did as well. She was really focused on developing herself personally and getting over some of her limiting beliefs so that she could grow her company. There was just one problem. She never moved beyond that. She was fascinated with learning about confidence and vulnerability and imposter syndrome and the patriarchy. And she stayed in that personal development loop for years. So rather than using what she learned about personal development to kind of elevate her so she could build her business, which was, by the way, her desire and intention, it kind of caught her in a loop. Now, the challenge, of course, was that it caught her in such a loop that she never actually built her skills in sales and marketing and product development and hiring and growth strategy. And therefore, that kept her business stuck and small. And over time, it started to make her a little bit resentful because the thing is, she really wanted to build her business, but she wasn't developing a core asset, i.e. her, so that she as a leader was capable of building the business. Can you see what I mean? Now, I get it. I love personal development. So I totally, on one hand, really understood that part and could relate to that part. But I also could really see how spending so much time cultivating only one aspect of who you are as a leader can actually handicap the growth of your company. And it means that you're not really rising to become the leader that your business needs you to be right now. Now, I am not trying to say stop personal development. I would never, ever, ever say that. But what I am suggesting is that the biggest personal development gift you can give yourself are the skills that you will require to pursue a level of intention that requires you to elevate who you are in order to truly raise the game. And as I'm talking about really building your capacity as a leader, so that you elevate your experience, and that in turn calls more of who you are to come to the surface. I really believe that so many of us were only sort of leveraging a fraction of who we are and what we're capable of. And so the more we build our capacity to pursue greater endeavors that are meaningful to us, the more we realize who we are, and the more of who we are at a deep level is able to manifest. And there ain't no book that is going to substitute your ability to do that. And so that's why building these skill sets as a CEO, I truly believe, is the most powerful personal development that you can do. Yes, learning how to sell and market is going to elevate your personal development and elevate your experience as a human and a leader, because it's going to lift the lid on what's possible, and it's going to give you access to more of the human experience. So I have felt this, I have experienced this, and this has really become a guiding principle in how I choose to develop a core asset in my business, which is me as a leader. That used to be the main asset. It is no longer the main asset. There are incredible assets that I laid the foundation to build because of my CEO skill sets, and that the people that we have in place have taken to whole new levels. They've taken those assets to whole new levels. But if I hadn't had the skill set to lay the foundation, that would never have happened. And the same is going to be true in your business. It's why, as an operator, you really need to develop a broad suite of skills in the beginning until you can afford to hire the level of specialist who's going to help you take things to the next level. So if you want to do this, you are going to need to grow your whole package, not just your personal development. Okay, so part 3 is the specific skills you need to develop as a founder in order to cultivate your biggest asset, which is you. What I'm about to share is a 3-minute micro training that I prepared where I lay out those specific skills you need to build as a founder and the specific order in which I recommend you build them. I originally shared this training on my LinkedIn channel. By the way, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, please go ahead and look me up and send me a connection. I love to sort of connect with people virtually on that channel. Okay, here's the training. If you are a service-based business owner, chances are you started your company because you had a really great technical skill. Maybe you started an advertising agency because you had technical skills in the field of graphic design. So here's the deal. It's one thing to start your business with that technical skill, but scaling your business, that technical skill is like 30% at most of what's required to scale an effective service-based business. And the key is that you're going to want to expand your skill sets as a leader in the right order. So you start out with your technical skill set, which is great. Let's say graphic design or lawyering. The next thing you're going to need to know how to do if you want to scale the company beyond you is to somehow productize that service offering, that skill set that you have, so that either other people can do it or you can turn it into a product that's eminently scalable. So that's the first skill set that you need to develop, the ability to create products. The next skill set you're going to need to master is sales and marketing, the ability to share your message in a compelling and relevant way with your target audience and really connect with them and give them the information that they need in order to decide whether they want to do business with you or not. So sales and marketing is the next skill set you're going to need to develop and grow. After that, you're going to need to develop skills around creating systems inside your business so that it can scale bigger than you. And then finally, you're going to really need to work on your leadership so that you can create not only the systems and the products and the marketing messages, but the culture so your company can continue to grow and thrive even when you're not in the room. So of course, for any service-based business, you will need to develop all of these and be using all of these skills kind of all the time. But at different stages of your growth, these skill sets become more important depending on the scale that you're at. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review so others can find the show as well. And on this episode, I've talked a lot about the power of building assets and growing through your assets rather than through your hustle. And of course, an asset is anything that you create that has future long-term value to your company. It can generate value not only today, but in the future. And if you're interested in doing that, it's a conversation I think women founders really need to have. So often we're looking, and so much of the training that's directed at us is either all about developing your confidence or knowing how to sell, use this sales strategy or this launching strategy. And those things are great, but you're going to, if you only develop those skills, again, you're going to be very one-dimensional or two-dimensional as a founder. And to really lead a company that you're proud of, a company that really brings them everything you've got to bear, that creates a legacy, that creates an impact, it's about using all of your skills and growing the whole package. And I think that this conversation around creating assets that can grow your business for you and with you, it's such a critical conversation that we're not having. So I'm hosting a free workshop this month, and it's called Scale with Asset-Based Thinking. These workshops are super high valuable. You will walk away with incredible skills to really help you take the next step in your business. You can go and sign up at eleanorbeaton.com/assets. eleanorbeaton.com/assets to sign up. It's free. It's massively valuable. Go to eleanorbeaton.com/assets. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a beautiful week. If you love this show, then you will love even more my missives, i.e. my emails. If you're not on my email list yet, I strongly encourage you to sign up at eleanorbeaton.com/join. Now, when you go and sign up for my email list, you will quickly discover why some of the most popular, well-known, and influential voices in the world of women's entrepreneurship quietly, studiously, consistently open every single email I send out, because they want to be inspired, they want to be entertained, and also I think they really want to connect with a woman like myself who's in full command of her voice and is willing to open up and share her thinking, her ideas, and her story. I promise you that on this email list, you are going to be entertained. You are going to hear really valuable tips about stepping into your power as a leader. And you're also going to get fun insight that I do not share anywhere else. Go to eleanorbeaton.com/join. And I promise you it will be the highlight of your inbox.